If you've ever wondered what it means to just let life happen and stop trying to control everything and stop trying to be so stressed and anxious all the time, then this video is for you. Every story has a beginning, middle, and end. And the beginning of this story is that we would like to arrive at a point where we can have a practical way to really surrender in life. And today, obviously, equations are very famous. We always want formulas and equations and pills that we can take, things that make things so easy for us to just surrender. So this is an equation for surrender. And it is based on the idea of how do we balance between personal ambition and the flow of universal timing, how things just unfold naturally in the universe. So to start, I would like to begin by saying that I have left my job, a global corporate career of 15 years. And I asked myself when leaving the job, when sending that email to everybody at work, saying that I'm going to resign, when I sent that email, I knew that the life I wanted to build for myself is a life of full surrender. It is a life of truth. It is a life of alignment with my true self and my true nature. So what I'm trying to say here is that how do we surrender? I want to surrender, but I don't want it to be some sort of self-help journey that I share because I want to feel special, or that is another mask or ego role that I put on that I'm the guy that left his career and surrendering, because that is not the intention. The intention is to really do it, to really discover something true and powerful that can help change my life, that can help make me feel at ease with myself, no matter what my situation is like. No matter whether I'm working a very hard corporate job or whether I'm in a cave in some distant country in the world, I should be able to have that same internal presence, that same sense of stillness and peace within myself. So to begin this journey, the beginning would be, I have learned that there are two types of surrender. One is surrendering the outcomes of our action. And the second type of surrender is surrendering the action itself. Now, to surrender the outcome of our action is quite difficult, but it's much more simpler than the first. What does it mean to surrender the outcome of your action? It means that you do something, you're motivated, and you're like, I want to achieve this, I want to accomplish this. However, you know what? I'm going to do my job, I'm going to do what needs to be done, and I just surrender the outcome. If it's successful, if it's not successful, if I get what I expect, if I don't get what I expect, it's okay, because it is in the hands of the universe, or it is in the hands of a higher power, or it is the hands of whatever you want to say. It is just in the hands of the matrix, if you want. You can even say that. That is surrendering the outcome of your action. And then surrendering the action itself actually means that the motivation that you get to act is also surrendered. And that is very difficult, because that means that you really need to live a life where you are in full alignment with truth. You are in full alignment with universal flow, or you are in full alignment with how this matrix is just unfolding. You're completely surrendered. And I tried so hard to actually understand what that means in my life. I spent weeks doing nothing, literally doing nothing, and just monitoring my mind and realizing that my mind is just bombarding me constantly with so many ideas and thoughts and fears, and you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do this, accomplish. It's like a hamster on a hamster wheel, never ending, never stopping. And it was only when I could actually observe my mind and how compulsive my mind was, that after that point I was able to actually start the very long journey of actually surrendering action. And I think surrendering action requires us to revolutionize the way we live our life. We need to cut out a lot of the noise. We need to live in a way that is aligned with truth. We need to have daily practices that help us keep us in a certain frame of mind that we want to do this. And at the end of the day, I think by practicing this more, you realize that surrendering the action itself and surrendering the outcome of the action is actually the same thing. There's no difference, because you just live a life of full flow and full surrender. And the biggest obstacle to that is fear, because our mind and our body is hardwired to believe that it is separate, that it needs to defend itself, that it needs to survive. And if we're able to relax that part of ourselves, then we can see and experience life just happening through us the way that it needs to happen. There are so many battles going on around the world, so many wars, but the biggest battle, the biggest war is happening within each and every human being around the world. It is happening between compulsion and surrender, between chaos and order, between, if you want to call it, light and darkness. This is the battle that actually determines the fate of humanity and the fate of the universe and the fate of this world. So when you tell me, how can I surrender after leaving my job? I tell you that I am scared as shit. I am so scared, because surrendering means that I have to not only leave my job, which I've already done, but it means that I have to turn down new job offers that come my way that are even more rewarding and lucrative than my old job was. And my old job was already extremely lucrative and extremely rewarding. So ironically, the moment I left my job and decided to surrender in my life, I started getting more and more opportunities to work, similar to my old job, similar to my old career, very lucrative opportunities. And it is so hard to stay the course. It is so hard to just stick to that intention. Because I'm saying to myself, how can I possibly in my right mind say no to this opportunity or this offer? It will give me an unimaginable amount of money. It will require me, of course, to work so hard, to be in an environment that is completely not aligned with my true nature and who I am as a person. And it will require me to also act in a way that is contrary to maybe my morals and contrary to who I want to be in this world and how I want to show up in this world. So it is so ironic and it is so annoying that such a thing happens, that I'm required to over and over again tell the universe and tell the world and tell my higher self that, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. It's as if the world is telling me, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want it? Are you sure you don't want a job that pays you $500,000 a year? Or are you sure you don't want this role and this title? Remember, you wanted a beautiful woman, you wanted a nice car, you wanted a house, you wanted all of that. You can have it. You can have it. But somehow some idiotic voice inside of me is still whispering and saying, when you're at your deathbed, if you look back at your life, what is it you want to see? What is it you want to say that you may have done in your life? And I would want to say that I lived from my heart, that I just took a leap of faith, that I just grabbed the table and flipped it over. And I was in presence and I was centered and I was happy throughout my life. And for some reason, the only way I can do that is by not living out of fear. It's by doing something I actually love, even though it might not bring me a lot of money, even though it might not bring me a lot of success, quote unquote, even though it might not bring me a lot of views on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Because by living that life, you really are able to just be centered and be aligned with your heart. And it doesn't matter if you're hustling or if you're making that much money or if you're, making millions or if you're having a nice car and a beautiful family and a beautiful wife and all of this stuff. It doesn't matter. You can have those things. They're not bad. They might come, but it's not like you're compulsively going after them. So there is this situation happening within my body where I feel that I have to purge this out. I have to purge these identifications out, these fears out, these compulsions out, because I know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. A part of me does want money. A part of me does want success in the traditional sense of how we think modern success is. A part of me does want a beautiful woman. A part of me does want a very nice car, a very nice life, a beautiful house that I own. And I love that I want those things. Those are beautiful things to want. But the real question is, at what expense? What am I willing to sacrifice for those things? Am I willing to sacrifice my presence, my stillness, my truth to have those things? And I think the answer should be no. I'm not. And even if I'm going to live a life of extreme poverty, a life of physical poverty, because I would be rich in happiness maybe, but even if I live a life of poverty, even if I live a life where there's no successful, if I'm alone, to maintain that sense of stillness, that sense of truth, that sense of dignity, that sense of love, that sense of being connected with my values, then I will be willing to do that. Now, of course, we don't need to go to these extremes because the world isn't about extremes. It's about that middle path. But I think sometimes to find that middle path, we need to dip our toes and feet in the extremes. We need to go and work an 80-hour-a-week job and be paid a lot of money. And then we need to go to the other side and do nothing and live out of a cave, so that we're able to find ourselves somewhere in the middle, a middle that makes sense for who we are and what we're trying to achieve in this world and in this life. So if we really want to know what this equation is about, this surrender equation, I can say the first thing we need to do is to put our mind under the spotlight. Every morning, every moment, every single moment of our lives, we monitor and we are aware of all of the garbage and all of the things that our mind is trying to tell us. And the second thing is that we show compassion to our mind. Our mind is not our enemy. Our mind is a structure. It is an organ. It is a force of life that has been created through so many repetitive patterns over millions of years to keep us alive, to keep us in survival mode. It is not hardwired for our happiness. It is hardwired for our survival. So we need to show compassion to this organ. We need to show compassion to this faculty. So we monitor the mind. We show compassion to the mind. And then we connect with our heart, which would be the third thing. We connect with our heart because in our heart, we can access all of our truth, all of our wisdom, all of our ambition, and all of our potential. We connect with our heart. And then we allow ourselves to just be. We allow ourselves to flow. If our mind comes in, we talk to the mind with compassion and we come back to the heart. So for example, today I was sent an offer for a job and my mind comes in and my mind is very smart. My mind also becomes somewhat compassionate. It's like, okay, why don't you take this job and try to continue living a life of truth? Nobody says that they don't work with each other. Now, the nature of this specific job is that it is very hectic. It is very high demanding and it is going to be in an industry that is very difficult to operate in. So it would be difficult to maintain this truth while working in that industry. But the truth is that I need to reflect on this. So my mind comes with this message, which is valid, but I need to drop into my heart and really ask myself, okay, if I'm going to reject this offer, this opportunity, then what is it that I'm going to do with my life? Because currently right now, honestly, it's been 7 months since I left my job and I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, and I've tried to do so many things, but still nothing has really taken any traction. So I asked myself, okay, what is it that I'm going to do? Should I just always sit on my couch and just wait? Or should I keep on this struggle? Maybe this struggle is useful. It's important, right? I'm making this video right now. Or should I move that struggle and move this energy and move this movement to my job, which is going to be in a difficult industry? So anyways, I'm struggling now. Why wouldn't I struggle within that job and within that industry? These are the questions I ask myself. And these are the questions you would probably ask yourself if you were trying to do this, or if you are trying to do this right now. The only answer that I can actually come up with right now to how to navigate my life is that I need my mind to shut the fuck up, number one. And number two, I need to have faith. Faith that in the long run, if I stick to this path, if I stick to this conviction, even if I'm completely delusional, even if I'm a complete idiot, to let everything go, to say no to money, to say no to my career, even if I'm a complete idiot, sticking to this path, somehow in the long run, I will be rewarded. And even if that reward is just the knowledge of knowing that I sticked to a principle and to something that's coming from my heart, even if that is just the reward, then maybe it's worth it, because I will look around me at some point in time and I will see people, the people I love and cherish. I will see them having went through the churning and the hamster wheel of this matrix of life. And I will realize that they are no more or less fulfilled than I am. And I can actually say, if I'm looking back at my life at some point in the future, that I tried to do something different. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was foolish, but I tried. And maybe the lesson I need to learn is whether it's worth trying or not. I don't mean to sound depressing, but maybe the lesson I need to learn is whether it's worth trying and what really comes out when you try. Because it is so difficult. It is so difficult to sacrifice the matrix, to sacrifice your life, to sacrifice your career, to sacrifice steady income and money and certainty for this foolish idea that somehow you're going to be doing something that is aligned for you. Somehow you're going to be sharing your truth and maybe helping raise people's awareness. It feels very foolish. But for whatever reason, I'm completely captivated by that feeling. I'm completely captivated by that aspiration. Even if it means that I'm going to have to destroy my whole life. Even if it means that I have to leave everything behind. And I feel like a complete fool. I feel like an idiot. And I even question my own mental health. Is there something wrong with me to want to do this? But this is the path. This must be the path. I have no certainty here. I have no certainty to share with you. Only truth, only questions. This is the path, or maybe it's not. I can only walk it. I can only try to walk it and find out. Wherever you are in the world, if you wonder about the same thing, it would mean a lot to me if you connected or shared your insights in the comments section. Sending you love and hoping that whoever you might be, wherever you might be, that you find that peace and you find that stillness in your heart and it stays with you forevermore. Peace and love.